Hey everybody, it's Jeff from New York, and I'm here on the Garden State Parkway heading down to Atlantic City, but not to visit Atlantic City, just to get to the Atlantic City airport. I am taking a 4-day vacation, a working vacation that is, down to Florida. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida has invited me down for 3 nights, 4 days, so I am certainly going to take them up on it. But during that trip, I'm also going to rent a car and head all the way down south to Key West. And I'm going to bring you guys along not only to the Hard Rock and show you around that beautiful property, but also the road trip down to Key West and all around Key West as well. I've never been to the property, the Hard Rock property in Hollywood, so this is going to be interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's the only property that Hard Rock has currently with a guitar tower. The hotel tower is actually in the shape of a guitar, and there's light shows at night on that building as well, and it's going to be very interesting. I have a feeling this is going to be the same type of situation that they're going to build in Las Vegas on the Las Vegas Strip. Now, as far as Key West, I've been there plenty of times. Usually I fly. I've driven, I think, just once back and forth, and that's what I'm going to do today. The road trip is actually a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along with that. We'll make a couple stops along the way. It's like a 4-hour drive, 3.5, 4 hours, depending upon traffic, each way. But once you get to Key West, there is so much to see and do. I just don't have too much time. I only have 2 days in Key West and 2 days at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. So jam-packed agenda. Another cool thing about this trip is another first, actually. I've never flown out of Atlantic City. As you guys know, I only do non-stop flights. I don't like to spend my entire day stopping off in different cities to get to my final destination. And there is no non-stop flights out of Atlantic City to like Las Vegas or something like that. But there is to Fort Lauderdale, which is basically the same thing as Hollywood. So I am flying for the first time out of Atlantic City. That's going to be exciting. And I'll show you guys around the airport as well. So this is the trip I make countless times to Atlantic City. I live about an hour north of Atlantic City, so it takes me about an hour, sometimes a little longer, a little shorter, depending upon traffic, but Garden State Parkway is a very easy highway to drive on, and usually I have no issues at all. This is why I also only stay in Atlantic City overnight if I have a comp, because it makes no sense whatsoever for me to pay a room as well as resort fees and all the other New Jersey fees, if you will, to stay overnight when I live so close. But in all the years that I've been to Atlantic City and all the times I've been there, never been to the airport. So this is new to me, and it's probably going to be new to most of you guys as well. It's going to be exciting to see what it looks like. And we are almost there. Atlantic City and its boardwalk is just a little bit east of the Garden State Parkway, and the Atlantic City airport is just a little bit west. It's funny, in all my travels, when I meet another New Jerseyan, which I am a New Jerseyan now, the first question they ask is, really? What exit? Instead of what town, they ask, what exit? Parking here at the Atlantic City Airport is $15 a day for the garage, and in Newark Airport it's $60. How's that for a difference? This is very cool. I made it in less than an hour. It's a great day to fly. The weather is beautiful. I really like coming here to the Atlantic City Airport. However, later in my trip, I'm going to find out I made a big mistake. Right outside the main entrance here is a beautiful mosaic of the old skyline of Atlantic City. Many of these older buildings are still there on the boardwalk. One of the things I noticed immediately is the place obviously does not have the crowds that Newark Airport has, or any major airport, I should say. There's no people cutting you off with their rolling luggage and everything like that. TSA was a breeze. There were 2 people in front of me. They made me wait like 30 seconds, which in Newark, it's a huge production with long lines and people screaming, and it's just so much chiller here, if you will. It's so much smaller, so much more relaxed, yet it has everything that an airport should have. It's got several places to eat, it's got a couple gift shops, a coffee place, everything is taken care for here. There's a quick shot of TSA here. It's about as close as I can get to with the camera, but again, no lines at all. I'm flying on Spirit today. I usually use either Spirit or United when I travel. Spirit, I know a lot of people don't like Spirit. Everything is extra. You have to realize that when you're flying Spirit. And if you know what you're doing, you get to fly cheap. If you want those big comfy seats up front, yeah, you can get one. You have to pay for it. You want a soda during your flight, you have to pay for it. But I know this when I fly, so I know that in the long run, I'm still saving money with Spirit. Never had an issue with them. There are only 2 airlines that fly out of Atlantic City. They are Spirit and American. So keep that in mind if you're loyal to another airline. Speaking of Spirit Airlines, I once heard this joke that if the plane should suddenly decompress and the oxygen mask drop, you need to swipe your credit card if you want some oxygen. Now, I admit you have to pay for everything on Spirit, but I don't think you have to pay for the oxygen. I'm about to grab a bite. It's late Sunday morning. It's about, I guess, 10:30, and I haven't eaten yet, and don't plan on eating on the flight. Then I have to pick up my rent-a-car, and by the time I get to Hard Rock, I'll be starved. So I'm gonna grab a bite here. Don't know what I'm gonna get. Let's take a look around the airport a little bit. As always, if you're enjoying the videos here on the New York channel, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click that thumbs up if you're enjoying this video in particular. Both really do help the channel out, and I do appreciate your support, guys. Here's a little bed and biscuit for the traveling dogs. I wonder who has to clean that up. I hope they're paid a fortune. The airport has many murals of Atlantic City, both the old Atlantic City and the new as well. Just so you know, there are no flights flying out of this end of the airport. That's why it's completely dead. As we head back to where the planes are, you'll see a lot more people. But not as many as I'm used to at these airports. Thank goodness. I bought a ham and Swiss panini here at the Atlantic City Boardwalk. I probably won't be able to eat for a while because once I land in Hollywood, I need to head over to the car rental place, which there's a shuttle that'll get me from the terminal to the car rental place, and then eventually to the Hard Rock. I'm going to have to do a video tour of the room at the Hard Rock, and then I probably won't be able to eat until late this afternoon. So ham and Swiss panini here at Atlantic. Okay, 2 things. One, I know I said Atlantic. I'm at the Atlantic City Boardwalk, and clearly I'm at the Atlantic City Airport. I don't know, I'm getting old. And a second thing, I realize sometimes I'll say something when I'm editing a video, and then I repeat it at the video part of the editing process because I forgot that I mentioned, what I talked about. In any event, it is what it is, guys. Sometimes I repeat myself on these videos. You get what you pay for. Speaking of paying for things, this panini was about $10, maybe between $10 and $11, I think, and it wasn't that bad. In case you're wondering, the planes that fly out of Atlantic City Airport are full-size planes. A lot of people think they're smaller planes. These are full-size. I believe this is a A320 Airbus, which is another reason why I like to fly Spirit. They don't use Boeing airplanes, which is a major factor in some people's flying decisions these days. This particular plane, the A320, Spirit uses a lot, and it's also the plane that I usually take to Las Vegas as well. I booked my aisle seat, as I always do. It's just a little bit more room for your legs to spread out if you want to. Now, about my nightmare story flying out of Atlantic City, the experience was fantastic flying down. Coming back, there were major storms. South Florida was pretty much flooded. It was all over the national news. I'm sure a lot of you guys heard about it, and if you read the community room here on the New York channel, you certainly heard about it from me. My flight was canceled coming home, because of the weather, so I had to rebook, and they told me it would be 2 days before I could get back to Atlantic City. I slept on the floor at the airport like all of us did, I guess, and while I was sleeping on the floor, I happened to wake up and look up, and I saw that there was a flight the next day. So 3 o'clock in the morning, I head back over to the Spirit desk and say, can I get on standby for that flight? They said, sure. That would save me a day or two of sleeping at the airport. So I spent my time at the gate with my fingers crossed, hoping I can get on the next flight, which was the next day, and I was called last as far as standbys are concerned, and I got a seat. Wasn't an aisle seat, it was a window seat, but hey, I would have sat on the wing. The thing is, while I was waiting at the airport down in Fort Lauderdale, I kept hearing about all these flights to Newark. Flight to Newark now boarding, and then like a couple hours later, flight to Newark now boarding. Flights to Atlantic City are one a day, at least out of Fort Lauderdale. So if you don't get that flight, you have to wait a day. So that's a big difference. And it was very frustrating hearing about all these flights to Newark, which was just as far from my house as Atlantic City, pretty much. I'm right in between the two towns. But I could not get on those flights to Newark because my car, of course, as you saw, is parked here in Atlantic City. But you guys know I travel a lot, and these things rarely happen. I mean, storms do pop up, obviously, in southern Florida. And would I fly out of Atlantic City again to get to southern Florida? I probably would. I think this was just a freak thing, and I think the rewards certainly outweigh the risks involved here. So I rented a Mini Cooper convertible for the Key West leg of this journey. Obviously, I could have just taken an Uber from Fort Lauderdale to the Hard Rock here in Hollywood. It's only about 10 minutes away, but I am taking a trip to Key West. It's going to be a road trip. I had a lot of fun, did a lot of recording, started hitting those storms on the way back to Hollywood, but had some decent weather in Key West, so stay tuned for those videos. Going to be a lot more coming from Hollywood as far as the Hard Rock, and lots more coming from Key West as well. Those videos will probably be on the weekends here on the New York channel, so it doesn't disrupt the usual Las Vegas/Atlantic City videos. By the way, driving back to the Hard Rock in Hollywood from Key West, nothing like driving a Mini Cooper convertible through flooded roads. Let me tell you.
So I couldn't help myself. I rented a convertible again. I mean, we're doing a road trip through the Keys. You have to have a convertible, right? Hopefully the weather will hold up. In the meantime, I'm heading right now towards the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Gonna check in there, pretty much end this travel day video at that point. Then maybe do a room tour video. That'll be a separate video, and just lots more to come from not only the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida, otherwise known as Fort Lauderdale, but also the road trip to the Keys. Looking forward to this entire 4 days. Stay tuned, guys.
If you look way ahead to your left, you'll start making out that guitar tower from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And by the way, in case you were wondering, as soon as I found out that my flight was canceled, I went right to the front desk at the Hard Rock to see if I could just book another day. I didn't want to spend a day at the airport. And unfortunately, because of the weather, they were completely sold out. They told me I was welcome to stay, in the public areas of the Hard Rock. There was a ban on, not a ban on driving, but there was like a state of emergency where you're not allowed to drive unless it's an emergency on the roads. And well, I just felt at that point I needed to get to the airport. Hey, if you'd like to support the New York channel, then just click on that thanks button right underneath this video that you're watching. Doing so not only helps support the channel, but it will get you a shout out as well. Shout out to Richard Hales, who left a super thanks on my latest Atlantic City video, The Towers of Caesars, where to stay, which tower is for you. Check that video out. Thank you so much for your support, Richard. It makes videos like this one possible. So you'll get a little tour of the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida, at least on my way to the reception desk. Obviously, a full tour is coming soon here on the New York channel, as well as restaurants and the casino and everything else that has to do with this place. Lots more videos coming, as well as, well, that road trip to Key West, which has tons of videos as well, so stay tuned. By the way, tons of memorabilia in this building, and I did a video on that as well. Don't forget, subscribe and click that notification bell and you'll never miss a thing.
You didn't think I was going to show you the room now, did you? That's going to be a separate video. Thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to this trip, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along.